Well, hello there, gamer. This is Major Dave, and I'm proud of you today. You took a bold step. You made a decision, albeit controversial. Perhaps the most controversial one of your PC gaming life. Your friends told you not to do it. The streamers of this game told you not to do it. But yet, you rebelled. You were the equivalent of that guy who was instructed precisely not to push the red button, and yet, here you are, pushing that red button. And you've taken a leap of faith of joining what seems to be a game that is perpetually in alpha state and under development. Star Citizen. Welcome in. So a couple of things to consider before getting into the game itself. Here are the PC requirements for Star Citizen. Here's what I would say to add to this. It tells you 16 gigabytes of RAM is sufficient. It is not. It is definitely not sufficient. I used to have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and the game will typically have issues and underperform. Make sure you have at least 32 gigabytes of RAM if you want to be on the safe side. You can be that person who likes to live on the edge and play this at 16 gigabytes. But hey, I don't want to be that guy. I like to be safe. I like to play it on the right side of things. So I upgraded. I upgraded my system to 32 gigs of RAM so I can have a smoother experience. That doesn't mean you're going to have a great experience because the game is buggy. FPS has issues. But nevertheless, at 16 gigs or less, we're looking at possibly playing a slideshow. And if you don't like PowerPoint presentations any more than I do, I recommend you get 32 gigabytes of RAM. Also, SSD strongly recommended. Cannot emphasize that enough. Do not install this game on a hard drive. You will have a lot of issues. Make sure this is on an SSD. If you can get the newest SSD, the better. And make sure you have plenty of space. This game is a large install. So make sure you have at least a 500 gig SSD to accommodate for that. Alright, another thing that's important to keep in mind is that if you're not quite ready yet to commit to the game by purchasing a package, you can click on development in the main page, go to roadmap. This is going to give you the progress tracker and the release view. Here you can see the current phase of development for the game. This is basically, as the name entails, a roadmap. Now, it isn't definitive by any means, since development can choose to add or remove things, deliverables as they see fit, depending on whether or not it is feasible to have that completed on a certain patch. For the game itself, the patches get released quarterly. Now, a patch may look very attractive with a lot of features that are going to be added. However, when the patch is released, oftentimes it gets stripped down and it becomes a bit disappointing because it does not meet the expectations that they had originally set for that patch. And this is something that happens very often with the game. It's a commonplace issue. And it seems like perhaps development gets overwhelmed, or they set too many goals and they are not able to meet it in time. And as such, all those deliverables get postponed to the next quarter or even later on down the road. But if you're interested in seeing what the game might be offering in the future, given all those things I've already said, you go in here to the release view. You can click on each one of these as a drop down, expand them, and see exactly what the detailed feature is that they're planning to add for that particular patch. So if something pops out at you that seems to be very interesting, or a type of gameplay that you like, and you'd rather wait until that gets hypothetically released, you can choose to do that. Or you can get into the game right now and play it the way it is and wait until that happens so you can have experience with the game itself prior to the patch being released. This is just something that's important to note and something that's important to check if you're really interested in looking at the game in depth prior to committing to it. Alright, so after all those considerations, those quick topics that we went over, if you decided to go ahead and purchase a game, we're going to click on Play Now on the main page. This will take us to a couple of promotional offers that are going on right now since we are in the 2021 holiday season. We'll skip these because if you're watching this video past that period of time, we will not have these as well, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to click straight to the Pledge store and take a look at the broader selection of starter packages that they offer. Alright, let's scroll down here past the first row of promotional offers for the period of time we're in and take a look at the starter packs available. We have the Aurora MR, the Aurora MR Star Citizen Squadron 42 combo, Mustang Alpha Star Citizen Plus Squadron 42 combo, Squadron 42 standalone pledge, Invil Aero starter pack, Invil C8X Pisces Expedition starter package. So as you can see, these start to get pricier and pricier as you move further down the options. Some of these can get pretty high up in price, but let's not worry about this. You're just starting the game. My recommendation, and this is the recommendation from a lot of the long-time players that I watch that stream this online, is to either go with the Aurora starter package, because in-game, as you build credits, as you play the missions, you can purchase most of these ships with in-game currency without having to use real-world money in this case. So you can usually go with the $45 package if you want to start off with the cheapest one available. However, for the missions that you're going to be doing, some of the delivery missions require certain more space in the ship to carry boxes, as well as sometimes having a ship where you can bed log, which means you can lay in your bed and log out of the game and log back into the game in the ship. The Aurora MR does not have that option. The Mustang Alpha would definitely not be something I would consider if you're starting off. It's not the greatest ship. As a matter of fact, it's a ship that's right now pretty much useless in the game, in the verse, so I would not even consider this. What I would suggest as a starter pack, if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, would be the Avenger Titan starter pack. This ship is very flexible. It fills a lot of different roles. If you want to go and upgrade to the next level up, I would definitely recommend Cutlass Black. The Cutlass Black to me is basically a chameleon. It can play several different modes. It's a super good ship in the game. It's a jack of all trades, master of none, but at any rate, it's a great ship to have. You can purchase this ship in game anyway, as I mentioned before. So if you want to start off with an Aurora, this is more than enough to do starter missions, player versus environment missions, where you can accumulate a UEC, which is the in-game currency, and then you can choose to either purchase the Titan in the game or the Cutlass Black. However, I would recommend purchasing the Cutlass Black, saving up enough for that. The Hornet, definitely not needed, and all of these ships down here are way too expensive. Unless you're willing to spend the money, go for it. I don't see a point in doing this if you just started the game, remembering that the game is still under development. So perhaps certain things are not going to be a certainty, and spending this much money in the game might lead you to be a little bit disappointed in the long term. So please bear that in mind. And again, final recommendation for this is the Avenger Starter Pack at $70. And if you're willing to go a little bit higher, Cutlass Black, which again you can buy in-game. Or the Aurora Pack if you want to spend just $45. That's my recommendation. These are good ships. Definitely good ships. Good 3-starter ships to consider. Again, number 1, Avenger Starter Pack. Number 2, Cutlass Black. Number 3, Aurora. If you're looking at the budget, again, Aurora number 1. Obviously Titan number 2 and Cutlass Black number 3. But that's it. Once you do that, you go ahead and you add to cart, check out. You can choose to add some skins that they offer. This is entirely up to you. Skins are going to be applied in game to change the color of the ship. That is something that if it strikes your fancy, go ahead and purchase it. Again, if you're budget friendly, if this is budget friendly, add it to your total. If it's not, forget about it. You can also purchase a lot of these paints in game. So it's, again, entirely up to you. Click continue, check out, and you'll have the package ready for you. One thing I wanted to mention before moving forward is that I skipped over the Squadron 42 standalone pledge and also the Mustang Alpha Star Citizen Plus Squadron 42 combo. And that's the one I purchased when I first got into the game, and again, I would not recommend it. But the Squadron 42 standalone pledge is basically just your ticket to the single-player campaign game that they're developing, which is a separate game, at least as far as we are all concerned in terms of the player base, from the Persistent Universe, which is what is right now available as an alpha for you to access. So you definitely do not need to worry about this. Maybe down the road you may need to purchase it, but for now you can skip this overall. Alright, and once you have everything set, you should have the RSI launcher available on your desktop wherever it is you placed it. Remember to install the game in your solid-state drive for a much better performance, and not put this on your hard drive. You're going to double click on the RSI launcher and it's going to pop up like this. It will prompt you to log in, so please put in your email and password which is the account that you created on the RSI website as well. That's going to all be synced up. So in the RSI website, or the Roberts Space Industries website, which is the main website for Star Citizen, you'll have a section known as the hangar, where you have all of the stuff you own and purchased at the pledge store available for you to review and upgrade if you should decide to do that later on. But here in the launcher, we have the live option. If you're somebody who has spent enough money in the game, the PTU, which is the Persistent Test Universe, will be made available to you. This is after you reach a certain level of purchases in the pledge store. So this is only for testing, and this happens when there is a new patch that's launched or released by development and it's not ready yet to go into live, which is the alpha PU. So it's put into the alpha PTU, where you can test, report issues to the issue council and things like that. So for this case, we'll ignore it. So we're just going to go to live always. And if you don't have the PTU option, it doesn't matter anyway. You're going to go to live, click launch game, and we'll get into the verse.